On Capitol Hill, a political shockwave just hit the House of Representatives. 13 Republicans broke ranks, joining Democrats to advance a bill directly challenging President Donald Trump's crackdown on federal worker unions. At the center of this confrontation stands Democratic Congressman Jared Golden of Maine. Golden used one of the rarest and most rebellious tools in Congress, a discharge petition. It's a procedural grenade designed to force a vote even when House leadership wants to bury the bill. And on Wednesday night, it worked. With a 222-200 vote, lawmakers approved a motion to start debate on Golden's legislation, the Protect America's Workforce Act, pushing it onto the fast track. All 209 Democrats said yes, joined by 13 Republicans willing to defy their leadership and, in some cases, their own political base.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I oppose this motion, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields. Gentleman from Maine.
Mr. Speaker, I support this motion, and I encourage my colleagues, including the 226 members of this chamber who co-sponsored the bill and the 218 of them that signed the discharge petition, to support the motion, and with that, I will yield back. Thank you.
Gentleman yields. All time for debate has expired. The question is on the motion offered by the gentleman from Maine to discharge the Committee on Rules from the further consideration of House Resolution 432. The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The noes have it. The motion is not adopted.
For what purpose? Yeas and nays. Thank you.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 5-minute vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 222 and the nays are 200. The motion is adopted.
These Republicans include Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, Nicole Maliotakis and Mike Lawler of New York, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Don Bacon of Nebraska, and several others, many representing blue or battleground districts where bipartisanship isn't just appreciated, it's required for survival. Golden's bill aims to undo one of Trump's most sweeping executive orders of 2025, a directive that blocked collective bargaining with unions across wide swaths of the federal government. Agencies from the Pentagon to Veterans Affairs, from Homeland Security to Treasury, even Health and Human Services and Agriculture, all were restricted from negotiating with their unions. Millions of federal workers felt the impact. But discharge petitions are almost unheard of in Congress. They are seen as a direct challenge to party leadership, a step lawmakers usually avoid unless the stakes are high or the political pressure back home is even higher. This year, though, they have become more common, with Republicans clinging to a razor-thin majority. Losing even 2 GOP votes can sink a party-line bill, giving moderates unprecedented leverage. And many of these moderates, like Maliotakis, Lalota, Lawler, and Bacon, rely on union support. For them, crossing Trump on this issue may be risky, but staying silent could be even riskier. Next comes the House rule vote today, which is another procedural hurdle that could make or break the repeal effort. If it survives, the final House vote will follow immediately. From there, the bill heads to the Senate, and if it passes there too, it will land on President Trump's desk, forcing a showdown between Congress, labor unions, and the White House itself.
The Protect America's Workforce Act would overturn President Trump's executive order from March that ended collective bargaining rights for roughly 1 million Americans who work for the federal government. Since the order was made, the administration has ripped up more than 700,000 union contracts. The order was the largest act of union busting in American history, and it left our federal workforce more vulnerable to unfair treatment and political interference. I'm proud that since introducing this bill, it's won the support of 226 of my colleagues in this chamber. This majority includes Democrats and Republicans who recognize that collective bargaining is not a partisan issue. It's about fairness, dignity on the job, and a voice in the workplace. In his order, President Trump said ending collective bargaining was about protecting our national defense. But in my district and many others, affected workers build our warships and care for our veterans. These workers make our country safer and stronger every single day. America didn't vote to silence these workers, but this bill gives all of us a chance to restore their voices. Every one of us in this body was sent here by our constituents to represent their voice in Congress. While the majority leadership has broad prerogative to set the calendar and control the flow of legislation, no one here believes they should have absolute power to determine which bills see the light of day and which don't. The discharge petition process exists to give members of Congress some agency. It's a release valve to ensure that good bills with broad support cannot be held up forever by a leadership team. It gives us a fair shot at building a coalition to do the people's work and get an up or down vote on the floor. That's exactly how my colleagues and I have spent the past several months. We've built a bipartisan coalition representing a majority of the House in support of this bill and done the work to bring it to the floor. I know that none of us ran for office with a vision of governing by discharge petition. Most of us long for the return of regular order, where bills are assessed in committee, seriously debated, and given a vote. But here we are. As it stands, we must use every tool available to do the people's work. I'm grateful to my 8 Republican colleagues who co-sponsored the bill, led by my friend Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, and to the 5 Republicans who signed the discharge petition to ensure that this chamber would hold this vote. If the majority we built over the past few months sticks together, we can overturn this union-busting executive order, and we can show America that this body will protect workers' rights. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on the rule. Let these workers have their day on the House floor. Give them an up or down vote. They deserve that much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And with that I will reserve. Thank you.
The gentleman has the only time. Does the gentleman?
I'll yield 3 minutes to Ms. Dexter. Thank you.
The lady is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for yielding and for the leadership of our carrier. I rise today in defense of the people who make our government work, our federal workers. They are scientists, nurses, engineers, caseworkers, people who have dedicated their lives to public service. Unfortunately, these workers have found themselves under attack once again, as efforts to strip them of their collective bargaining rights continue. This is not just about national security. It's about ensuring these workers have a voice in their workplaces and the ability to negotiate for fair wages, decent working conditions, and dignity. As a former union member, I understand the critical importance of standing together for workers' rights. I know how unions can be a powerful force for change, ensuring working families have a fair shot at the American dream. That's why the Protect America's Workforce Act is so vital. It is time for Congress to come together in a bipartisan way to pass this legislation that will protect federal workers from attacks that threaten their livelihoods and their families. Federal workers are the backbone of our nation, from FEMA teams helping wildfire survivors to VA staff caring for our veterans to Social Security workers making sure our seniors can live with dignity. These are the people who serve us every day. They are not faceless government employees. They are our neighbors, our friends, our families. These attacks on their rights are not abstract. They are real, and they are personal. Over the past few months, I've heard from many federal workers in Oregon who have faced illegal firings, threats, and mistreatment. They have shared how these actions are creating fear and instability in their lives and communities. One federal worker, a disabled combat veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, was recently fired from his job at the USDA. He summed it up perfectly when he said, quote, "This is not the America I swore an oath to protect." That is the sentiment I know many of us in this chamber share. Federal workers like that veteran swore an oath to protect this country. Their dedication and service have been unwavering. We owe them the same commitment in return. I am grateful for the way we've come together across party lines to ensure the rights of working people and protect those who serve our nation. I stand strong with our federal workers and with all working families across Oregon. I commend my colleagues for coming together to fight for what's right, and I'm eager to continue this work alongside all of you to prioritize the needs of working families. It's time we act. It's time we pass the Protect America's Workforce Act because our workers cannot wait. Congress must honor their service and ensure their rights are enshrined today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from Oregon, Ms. Hoyle.
The gentlelady is recognized for a few minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On March 27th, President Trump issued an executive order that took away the collective bargaining rights of more than 1 million federal workers, over 30 agencies, under the guise of protecting our national security. This includes VA employees, Food and Safety Inspection Service workers, Health and Human Service employees, including those at the CDC and the FDA. These workers now have had their voices silenced and have no whistleblower protection if they report about working conditions or safety or even illegal actions taken by their agency. If they've lost their voice to demand fair treatment or due process, and they've lost the protection for their job. This is coming from an administration who have been clear that they have no respect for the federal workforce, or even in some cases for the rule of law, who have said that they want to put the federal workforce in trauma so that to force them to leave. The Protect America's Workforce Act nullifies this order and restores all collective bargaining agreements that were in effect before March 26, 2025. These collective bargaining agreements were bargained in good faith and are a contract between the federal government and the people that work for us. Anyone who says that they're looking out for American workers should support restoring and protecting the collective bargaining rights to allow everyday people, our federal workforce, to achieve economic security and dignity by speaking with one powerful, unified voice. A union helps workers use their power by standing together to level the playing field. It's disappointing that this bill couldn't come to the floor through the regular process, as there's enough bipartisan support to pass this good and critical legislation. But that didn't happen, so I'm grateful to my colleague Jerry Golden for filing this discharge petition. I'm proud to speak in favor of it. This is a good bill. I encourage my colleagues to vote aye. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time and move the previous question on the resolution.
Without objection, the previous question is ordered. The question is on adoption of the resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Well, the ayes have it. The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized. The gentleman requests the yeas and nays. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question will be postponed.